Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations coming at you today with another video, ladies and gentlemen, on Cookie Run Kingdom. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the meta team for guild boss battles. That's right, we're going to be breaking down the cookies that you need, the team synergy, the skills that you need to be popping off in a specific rotation, and last but not least, the absolute best treasures to run with this team composition. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, before we jump into any additional content for this video, I gotta give a massive, and I mean massive, shout out to the Whisk Takers, man. If you don't know who that guild is, they are gonna be in the top 1% of all guilds in Cookie Run Kingdom. That is right. So you can absolutely imagine how excited I was when I was able to reach out to them and get their approval to feature their specific Licorice tank composition build for the guild boss battle in today's video. That's right. So shout out to you guys. Thank you guys very much for allowing me to feature this in my video. And not only that, I got to shout out to Paper for coming up with all of the statistics and brains and all that jazz with all of you and all of your minions that help you come up with all the stress testing information. And then not only that, I got to thank Leuven for the fantastic artwork and overall design on all of your guides that you share within the Cookie Run Kingdom community. So again, thank each and every one of you for everything that you guys do for the specific guild. And hey, shout out to the entire Whisk Takers, man. Thank you guys very much for giving me the opportunity to feature some of your guide stuff into my videos, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future. Without further ado, let's dive into the actual overall Licorice tank guide. So, looking at the individual document here, we've got two different sections. We've got the setup on the left-hand side, and we've got the battle portion on the right-hand side. Now, how exactly do you read and interpret this? On the left-hand side, it pretty much just talks about the individual cookies, the treasures, some notes that they have also added, and then on the right-hand side, it's going to actually break down the individual steps that you need to do during the fight. So, what I'm going to actually do for you guys is we're going to cover this. I'm going to basically try to do my best to explain exactly what the strategy is, why it is as good as it is, and then we're going to also get into a little bit of gameplay because I want to show you guys it in action. So just bear in mind, you know, this is not going to be my footage when it comes to the video because I am nowhere near being able to put out the amount of damage that this specific team does in this video, but this should give you guys the motivation to work hard at building these specific cookies for completing the guild boss with maximum damage output, because again, it's all based around the amount of attack damage that you put out, and utilizing things like your defensive breaks and stuff are going to really help you. So the first cookie that we've got up on the list that you absolutely need to be building for this team comp to work, and that's going to be Dark Choco. Dark Choco has a defensive break as his skill, which basically just reduces the boss's defenses. That's why he's going to be 100% needed for this composition to work. And then next up is obviously going to be Licorice, right? It's a Licorice tank build, so therefore you're gonna need the man of the hour. So that's gonna be Licorice for you guys. They do have a side note here which basically talks about you can actually utilize Licorice at a lower level if you haven't fully invested in him yet. You can still potentially create and make this team composition work for you because all you're really doing is you're utilizing his minions on his main skill to basically mitigate the damage from that swipe or that stun swipe that goes off that the boss procs really early in the fight. And with that being the case, that allows your cookies to potentially not get stunned or take as much damage, so therefore they can continue to put off damage. So that's the whole theory behind this composition. So just keep that in mind. You can still potentially do this competition or Jeez Louise, you can still do this composition, this team composition, utilizing a lower level Licorice. So just bear that in mind. Moving right along to the next one, and that is going to be what DPS is to focus on or utilized in the individual fight. So they do list more than 5. So bear in mind, just like with all of the content in the game, you can only bring a total of 5 cookies. But what is really nice about this is it adds a little bit of finessing and personal finessing when it comes to whatever cookies you actually have available yourself, and not only that, which cookies that you actually want to mess around with and play with and or have leveled up. So with that being the case, we've got espresso, we've got latte, we've got rye, and we've got vampire cookie. Now they've got vampire cookie here listed as the number 1 slot, and then obviously your second choice would be rye cookie because he's just really good at single target damage dealing. And then last but not least, they do mention pomegranate. Now the side note that they do have on pomegranate, and that's going to be if when pomegranate uses her attack buff, if pomegranate's attack actually equals more than what one of your cookies that you have currently in the DPS slot for your specific run, then you're going to want to swap out that DPS and actually input pomegranate, because your whole theory is to do as much damage as possible. So you want your best DPSers, no matter what cookie that is, you want your best DPSers to be on your team lineup to make sure that you are outputting the most damage. So utilizing somebody like pomegranate with her attack power buff, if it's increasing her attack more than one of your cookies, again, swap them out. We can't stress that enough. Try to get the most that you can out of all of your damage. Moving right along to the next section on the setup, and that's going to be diving into some of the individual treasures. Now, they've got 4 treasures listed here on screen. I'm going to go ahead and actually drop this down for you guys. I'm going to show you exactly what what these treasures are. So the number 1 treasure to use 100% is going to be the Old Pilgrim's Scroll. So you can see the game absolutely hates me because I haven't gotten lucky and pulled them yet, even though I've been pulling a crap ton on treasures. I've even got almost close to max on some treasures. But anyways, we've got the Old Pilgrim Scroll, and that's going to be obviously number 1. It's just strictly increasing the amount of attack percentage on all of your cookies. So obviously it's the best treasure for something like the guild boss, because it's all based around how much damage you can output based on how much attack you can do. So again, very good one. You need to be running the scroll if you got it. Now, if you don't have the scroll, it's not the end of the world, because you can make other ones work. So things like the horn, so this guy right over here to the left hand side, you can make like the Gatekeeper's Ghost Horn work because it adds more defense, more survivability to your team. You can make also something like the Jelly Watch, which then just reduces your cooldowns on all of your abilities, which then hopefully allows you to utilize them more. But moving right along to the 3 additional ones, and the absolute one that you need, and that's going to be the Pilgrim's Slingshot. Now, the Pilgrim's Slingshot is also going to be reducing the boss's defense. So you have not only Dark Choco's skill, which reduces the boss's defense, you will also be utilizing Pilgrim's Slingshot to reduce defenses. And then last but not least, when it comes to the defense reduction, that's going to be the Ghost Ice Cream. So between the Ghost Ice Cream, the Slingshot, and Dark Choco's ability, the whole theory behind this build is going to be doing a crap load of defensive down on the boss, which then makes your abilities do a lot more damage, which then again, as you expect, is going to increase your total overall score, which is going to rank your guild higher and rank you higher in your guild. So again, that's going to be that one. And then last but not least, Scythe is also a really good treasure to run. Now Scythe is going to be specifically when you are running something like Rye Cookie, or you don't have one of the other 3 treasures. So Rye Cookie works really well with this one because this is just directly increasing the crit percent for all of your cookies, and with Rye being a heavy single target damage dealer, he's going to be really worth picking up the Scythe topping 4. So let's go ahead and hop back out of here, and let's go back into the actual screenshot. So one of the things that we need to know right off the bat is going to be how exactly does this strategy work, and what is the specific spell rotation. I like to say spell rotation. It's not a spell, but you get what I'm saying. The skill rotation to make sure that you get the maximum results. So right off the bat, you can see they've got it broken down into individual steps. So we're not going to cover step 2 because if you're not utilizing pomegranate, our example is not utilizing pomegranate, but if you're not utilizing pomegranate, then you can just skip step 2. But step 1 here, and no matter what you are doing, you need to be waiting until the boss banner pops across the screen. You're going to then proc off Licorice's ability, which then will summon the 2 minions. Those 2 minions are then going to tank the boss, and then potentially, not every single time, again, you're going to have to just play around with it and try to get it the best that you can for your 3 runs, but nevertheless, you're going to be basically utilizing those minions to tank that swipe and damage. So if nothing else, your cookies might still get stunned, but hopefully they take less damage because it's spread across those minions and not across your cookies. But that's going to be the first step. The second thing that you should do immediately when you get the opportunity is pop off Dark Choco's ability, as you can see here on step 3. And then immediately following his ability, you want to pop off your 2 toppings. You want to pop off the slingshot, and then you want to instantly pop off the ghost ice cream, because all 3 of those things are just doing a massive amount of defense reduction for the boss, which then, guess what? Your last step is to hit the boss with everything you got. That's it. 100% spam every single ability that you have to do as much damage as possible. I cannot stress that enough. You want to make sure that you are utilizing your damaging abilities last. You don't want to run this fight on auto. You want to be on manual to achieve maximum results. That's pretty much with any game, right? Nowadays, anytime that you want to maximize results, you need to be running on manual. Stop being lazy and uncheck that auto button when you are doing the guild boss battle. So the next thing up that they've got down at the bottom, we're not going to cover a whole lot in depth for this video, but basically you can read it for yourself if you would like. They give you some additional tips. They tell you some things that you can work on or finesse or tweak depending on whatever cookies you have or cookies that you are building. But basically, you need the cookies that are displayed here on screen. You need to follow the steps on the right-hand side. And then as the banner says in the red down here, it says this guide is not for everybody. Just keep that in mind. You might not have some of the cookies. You're going to have to make do with what cookies that you have. You might not, have all the greatest toppings in the world. You're going to have to either farm out those toppings, or you're going to have to just understand that you're not going to do a massive amount of damage versus what you could be doing if you had the better toppings. The same thing goes with just pretty much anything in this specific build. The Licorice tank build, or this one specifically right now, is meta, so keep that in mind. If you're thinking of building something else or trying something else, more power to you. But these guys are in the top 1%, man, for a guild. They're not going to steer you wrong. They're sharing this information with the community, so it's got to be good. Diving into the video, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is not my footage. This footage is brought to you guys by the Whisk Takers once again. So again, guys, thank you very much for allowing me to feature this content, your content, on my channel. I cannot thank you guys enough. It has been an absolute pleasure. And not only that, the community, I know, is going to benefit from utilizing this composition. And so hopefully we start to see some of those other guilds start to rank up a little bit higher and the damage to be a lot higher for the individual teams. So let's go ahead and load in here and show you the individual footage. Now, the clip is in total is only about 30 seconds. So I'm going to try to commentate and break down exactly what he's doing. So right here at the start of the battle, you're not going to want to pop anything. It's completely useless because normally the skill cooldowns, or at least how long the skill pop off, like the duration, is going to run out before the boss actually shows up for you to do any damage. So what they're doing here is they're waiting for that boss banner to pop up on the screen, and then they're going to pop off Licorice's ability to get those minions out right away and ready to take on that stun swipe when the boss does it. So they're going to go ahead and pop that off. We'll see that in a second. So right there, he should have popped it. Yep, exactly. So right there is going to be when he pops out the minions. Now, they do take a couple of seconds to actually proc out, so you'll see that. But the next step that is currently, according to that guide, like I said, if you're not following along, the guide will be linked down below in the description for you guys to check out. But nevertheless, what's going to happen here is he's going to then pop off Dark Choco's skill, which is going to be a defense break for the boss. So just decreasing the boss's defenses, and then simultaneously, right after you pop off Dark Choco's ability, he's going to then pop off his slingshot ability, which is also going to further decrease the defenses of the boss. And then last but not least, he's going to then spam all of his DPS that he possibly can. So Rye, Cookie, Espresso, and Latte will all go off, utilize their ultimate skills, and then he's just pretty much sitting back and waiting. Potentially could throw another Dark Choco's ability if it does proc before he dies, because it's going to be inevitable. Dark Choco will be the last remaining unit on anybody's team if you've got him build correctly on damage resistance. So let's go ahead and watch and play this out. So you go ahead, pop off Dark Choco's ability, pops off the slingshot, you saw that little proc, and then all of his individual damage. So again, that's the entire strat, guys. There's nothing else more to it. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple, but there's just one thing to note before we hop out of here, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to be, this is going to be a work in progress, man. This is the ultimate meta when it comes to running the guild boss in the game for maximum damage, maximum output, maximum maximum CD and cooldown reduction, everything. This is going to be the best team composition to utilize, but like I said, manifest it, finesse it, make it what it is for you and your specific cookies that you have available. So that's going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notification every time we drop a video, and I will see you on the next one.